If you're watching this video, then you've probably heard of UGC ads. In 2023, they are literally all over the place and scaling like crazy. But what you might not have heard of yet is in-studio user-generated content. Now, I am pretty sure I invented this, but at the very least, I think I coined the term. And how I figured that out was I did a quick Google search, nothing came up, so I hurried up and made this video so that I could go ahead and claim it. Now, before I get into the nitty gritty of UGC in-studio ads and how I can basically prove that I'm the Albert Einstein of content, I want you to first take a very good understanding of UGC, the current state of the UGC world, and how the in-studio UGC market is so unique and innovative. And it's basically the reason why I came up with it. Like I said earlier, by now you've probably seen UGC or user-generated content. They're everywhere. It's what brands are using all of the time to scale, especially on platforms like TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. Now, the reason why they became so popular is because we live in a super socialized world where short form video content is dominant for entertainment and getting people's attention. So if you're an e-commerce brand or really anybody selling anything on the internet, you also have to be super dominant on short form content. In other words, you can't just post once, twice, 3 or 4 times a month, how you might have used to be able to. Most of my clients are posting once, if not several times a day, in order to stay top of mind of their ideal audience, which is where the current UGC framework comes in. It is significantly easier to have someone take their phone, film an honest testimonial, engaging video than it is to have a full-blown commercial shot every single time you need to make a social media post. Hence why UGC has become so popular and why it's so important. Brands need content, and UGC is the easiest way for them to get that content. Thus, a whole new industry, space, and job market were created. The way I like to think about it is that everyone everywhere, especially if you're selling something, is literally fighting for the attention of people. The platform on which you're posting, in my head, is like the battleground. And the weapons that you actually use to fight are pieces of content. And obviously, if you have more weapons than someone else, then metaphorically, at least with this example, you're gonna beat them 10 times out of 10, simply because you have more options at your disposal to be able to stay top of mind and win more people's attention. Now that you understand UGC, where it is, the current market, why it's so important, I wanna talk to you a little bit about how I came up with the actual idea of in-studio UGC ads. I've started up tons of e-commerce brands myself. A lot of them have failed and a lot of them have succeeded as well. And in my own stores, the things that I nailed down, without flaw, was really good at was simply producing content. Whether it be photo, picture, video, whatever the content was, I understood how to communicate through somebody through the medium of content, how to make them feel certain emotions, how to make them care about the things that I'm selling, and this plethora of things of content revolving around the e-commerce space. But I kept running into this really crazy process of trying to get UGC ads. Like I said, UGC is nothing new. It's actually a very well thought out thing, and the term has been around for a really long time. We probably just only recently started calling it UGC. But if you've ever hired a UGC creator before, you know it can be an extremely daunting process. At least from my experience, it can easily take anywhere from 1 to 3 whole weeks for you to get just one set or one batch of content from one creator. And that's no fault to the UGC creators. Most of the times they need to actually receive the products, which takes a ton of time, record, edit, then revise the entire content campaign depending on the client and the client's objectives, which is how that 1 to 3 weeks can easily become the time frame it takes just to get a few pieces of content, 5 or 6 at best. When I was running my e-commerce stores, I kept running into this problem because I would get to a space where I would send my products to a creator, but I wanted to post more than just once a day or more than a few times a month. The problem was I didn't ever have enough content to actually post. Because of the time frame of the 1 to 3 weeks, the best that I could do was send a ton of products all at once and then keep my fingers crossed that the creators would actually make it and then the content be good and not need to be edited, revised, and do all of this back and forth, so that I would have enough content maybe in a month that I needed to actually scale and start posting more to grow my brand. And I'll be super honest, 7 times out of 10, this plan did not work. something would always happen. A package would get lost during shipping, a creator would absolutely suck. Sometimes they just wouldn't even post or like make the videos at all. So I would run into this wall where it's like, I want more content. I want not even just more content, I want a lot of content, but I cannot figure out a medium or a process to allow me to effortlessly get a lot of content all at the same time. So after I took a little bit of time away from the e-commerce space, I probably stopped doing e-com, I would say for about a year and a half after being in the industry for about 4, maybe 5 years. That's when I was able to rethink everything I was done. I was able to figure out what I was really, really good at in every single one of my e-commerce stores. In the thing that I was really, really good at, what was like the biggest problem? And the problem was always consistent amount of content to scale both organic and with paid ads. So when I came back, that's when I discovered this method of In-Studio UGC. See, with this, in about 2.5 hours, I'm able to get my brands and my clients' brands anywhere from 15 to 30 pieces of content, basically in one whole shoot. Because that's supposed to be the inherent nature of UGC. That's why people like it in the first place. And the most interesting thing about this process is that in the same amount of time that it takes a creator to get you like 3, 4, maybe 5 pieces of content, I can get you 15 to 30 pieces in a same, if not a smaller time frame. Because I make the entire process as simple as possible. I grab your product with the studio and then about 3 to 5 different creators. Combine all 3 of those things inside of one shoot on one day. So at one time, I can have up to 5 creators recording content for your brand all at the exact same time. Once you simply think about it and do the numbers, it's all a game of math. If I have 5 creators recording pieces of content for one brand, they're obviously going to record more content than just one creator. On top of that, there's a whole lot less back and forth. I do all of the creator interviews, I write all of the scripts, and I use all of my past e-commerce knowledge in order to fully understand your business and how your business can make viral ads. Now, I don't think I'm blowing smoke either. I've actually done this process a few times and it works really, really well for my clients. I'm gonna flash up on the screen, not just me filming and directing, but me giving like live viral ad training while inside of like these studios to make sure that we're not just getting lots of content, we're getting a lot of good content because I'm using like my e-commerce nerd brain and like the 50 million or so people who have seen all of my ads, all of the data from those past campaigns inside of my clients' brands. You see, anybody can probably do what I do. It's not that complicated of a process to grab creators, grab products, and grab a studio and record. But where I feel like this method becomes so cool is that I'm actually an e-commerce store owner. I actually have owned e-commerce stores. I've sold them. I've started many of them. Like, I know what the e-commerce space is. So I'm not just some random guy producing a lot of videos for e-commerce brand. I would call myself like an e-commerce veteran. And even if you check on my page, I have videos from years ago that when I first got started in the e-commerce game that are still there. So like, I know what I'm talking about. I have battle tested proven formulas, and I can pull an ad from freaking 2015, whenever I first got started in e-commerce, that went viral, used the same psychological tricks that worked way back in 2015, apply it to ad in 2023, and all of a sudden, like that magic that happened way back then, I can apply it to any of the brands I'm working with simply because I spent enough time in the industry. This is one of those things that I am super duper excited to share because I feel like I was able to solve my biggest problem in my own e-commerce stores. And then I just started offering it to other people. You see, the reason why I started off this video explaining the current process of UGC is because I wanted you to see the big inherent problem that nobody's talking about. And the service that I provide for all of my clients is the solution to that problem. You never can get enough UGC content whenever you're working with creators individually. You have to basically make a whole new position in your business in order to get the same amount of content. In other words, you're probably gonna have to pay 3, 4, maybe even 5 times the amount of the money to have one person in the role to manage UGC campaigns, when you could just hire me to do it for a whole lot less, a whole lot faster, and more than likely a whole lot better. And don't just think this entire process stops at creative production. We're gonna produce your creatives for you. We're gonna manage it on social media, and we're so confident that our creatives are gonna make you sales that we're gonna run them for you. And if you allow us full creative control, we're gonna run those ads, And if they don't at least break you even, we're gonna just refund you all of your money. This is one of those foolproof projects that I've put together in place, not only because I'm just super duper confident that I can help scale e-commerce businesses, more so because it solves a humongous problem. And you can basically hire an entire social media department with a money back guarantee, proven ads, and an expert who's actually done this before for a fraction of the cost. In-Studio UGC is probably one of the coolest things I think I've ever came up with. And like I said earlier, I'm gonna keep calling myself the inventor of this thing until somebody proves me wrong. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll get like a Wikipedia page with like, I don't know, the godfather of In-Studio UGC. This is essentially the intersection between speed and effectiveness. And tapping into this is going to allow my clients' brands to scale significantly higher, faster, and more efficiently than they would have before. If you're doing over 30K a month, want to learn more about me, my offer, and specifically how this process can help you, then make sure to click that link below. And hell, since you watched so far into this video, I will be happy to give you like a free brand audit where essentially I just write out everything I'm going to do for your brand. And if you want to work with me, fine. If not, take it and do it yourself. On top of that, why not? I'll just throw in some free content in there as well because you watched this far into the video. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And until next time, we'll talk. Peace.